But every day is a challenge for people who are building a business to really understand the power that they have to be able to go out and change, what it is they do to help change the world in some small way. That can scare off a lot of people, but you've got to have the mindset, the entrepreneurial spirit, if you will, to be able to really go meet that challenge head on. And it's the freedom that you get can really change your life and make you feel a lot more independent. Now, my name is Kenneth Kinney. You'll hear me often referred to as Shark. Shark is a nickname that I've had since I was a little kid. But I work in marketing and advertising field, primarily as a VP of marketing and digital strategy for AI Media Group, but I also work as a consultant and have done so for a good decade plus now, working as a professional speaker as well. I consider myself a subject matter learner because I'm at a point now where I am constantly just have a heavy appetite and thirst to learn as much as I can. I've been doing marketing and business for several decades now. I'm an avid scuba diver, have been diving with sharks since I was a little kid. That's how I got the nickname Shark. And I also run a podcast that's been a top podcast for almost 3 years now. Been on radio and TV, but my podcast is called The Shark's Perspective. And I've interviewed everybody from Seth Godin to Ann Hanley to Neil Patel to Guy Kawasaki to Martin Lindstrom to people, well-known people all over the world. So I've been very lucky to put out a tremendous podcast that has been an education for me as much as it's been just something I can kind of do as a passion project and help other people learn. So I figure if I get one listener and help them solve one problem, then I'm doing some good. But I just sort of realized is the frivolity, if you will, with how quickly people could change jobs, including me, and the loyalty was not there from a lot of companies. So building out that sort of side hustle for me was one, just something to help kind of entertain my brain. Having a lot of hyperactive energy, if you can't tell, but I also really just wanted to build out that side practice for me. And then also, when you start your own LLC and start building out a business, it gives you a lot of freedom to do the things you want to do, whether it's speaking, writing books, all those types of things. It just sort of puts you in that entrepreneurial spirit frame of mind to where you can go pursue the things that make you personally happy and pay you well to do them. I help businesses figure out ways to grow. And so I look at their holistic, everywhere from their customer experience to their marketing and advertising efforts and try to really optimize their business to perform better for their customers. And so a lot of times, I help give them that sort of hard look in the mirror with an assessment on an ongoing basis. And so what I try to do is provide a consultant background, having worked for a consultancy and agency, for a brand, for having worked for a publisher, and having worked in the big data sector, and then pulling all those kind of ideas and thoughts together with the view of how to help a customer solve their problems. A lot of times you can fall into that trap to where you're just leveraging the agency to solve the problem for you, the business, but unless the business keeps focused on the customer, then it just becomes a never-ending problem. So really helping companies refine that focus is something that an entrepreneur has to go through as well. The second one is that I probably would, in the challenge of being a marketer or a business person, in the operations side, really focusing on helping build your brand while your day job is helping solve problems for customers can be very tough to do, because you have to grow. In today's world, you have to focus a lot of your time on your brand, whether it's your personal or your entrepreneurial part of them. So it's one of the challenges that people have every day, is just as any business does. How do you cut through the noise so that the problem that you can solve for somebody can be articulated well and heard well by others? But every day is a challenge for people who are building a business to really understand the power that they have to be able to go out and change, what it is they do to help change the world in some small way. That can scare off a lot of people, but you've got to have the mindset, the entrepreneurial spirit, if you will, to be able to really go meet that challenge head on. And it's the freedom that you get can really change your life and make you feel a lot more independent. Now, again, that can be a double-edged sword, because not having the stability of what you think about is a cushy, comfortable job at a large corporation, that's intimidating for a lot of people to not have that safety blanket. But that safety blanket is quickly disappearing as corporations change, and that was one of the things that really opened up my eyes years ago as well. One of the things that I think bothered me early, but it doesn't bother me as much, is really learning to be a little more of an independent thinker and not listen to all of the advice only that you get from so many people. I think just turning off all the noise from so many experts out there, it can become really difficult for a lot of businesses to grow. So you really got to figure out at some point, here's the basis of my knowledge. I'm going to take it and I'm going to go, take what I've learned and build upon it with what the things I go through. If you're an entrepreneur, you've got to learn to look at data, but trust your own instincts and move forward. I've worked with some of the largest brands, the Fortune 100 in the country, some of the largest companies in the world, major banks, major league retailers, all the top names that people have heard of all over the world. I've worked with a lot of those big brands, and I've worked on campaigns helping them drive growth. The thing that I take the most pride in, that despite everything we go through in business, even this last year, which has been tough on everybody, I'm a proud family man, have fantastic family, amazing wife, couldn't be happier in the world with my son. And so I think really kind of understanding how that is of importance to everything else I've done in my career. Figure out a way to stay very tactical in what you do. And it's could be a hack for a channel. It could be a hack for anything you do in your career, but figure out the way to be sort of the person that can, the mechanic that can take apart a car and put one back together in their sleep. I mean, if you're talking about SEO, it's great to have a high-level conversation with an agency who may do your SEO for you, or your ad spend, or do a creative campaign. But if you don't know how to tactically do that on your own without having the agency or somebody like that or a consultant do that for you, it can hurt you dramatically in business. So from a hack standpoint, focus on learning the tools as much as you can and how they apply to your overarching larger strategy, because it can really make or break a difference with a lot of different things you do in your marketing and advertising. The biggest mistake that I've made was spending more time managing people better. I've had large teams that have reported to me. I've had 300 people report to me, and you could tell that I would spend way too much time, working 60 to 70 hours a week in the office, and really pushing people to get stuff done. So, treating your fellow employee and the people that work for you that are helping you build your dream is really an important thing that you can always do better. And these are mistakes that I think we all learn from, and it's going to be something that's a good. The fact that you know that you can do better with people, I think will help you go much further in your career. They absolutely need to at least start somewhere, even if it's just as a side hustle. You don't have to full-blown go into starting a brand new career and leave your job immediately. It's great if you can do it, if you've got the income behind it, and the right operational setup and all those things you need to make it successful, and you feel comfortable enough to do it, go do it. But if you don't, if you're not there, which most people aren't, start it as a side hustle. Being an entrepreneur gives you the capability to progress fast and much faster than you could in a corporate world. In today's world, it doesn't hurt to have a side hustle to help you get started and at least move in that direction. When you get to that point and you look yourself in the mirror, you'll know when it's time to move that way. Well, there's so many ways to figure out where you are market ready. I mean, you basically can figure out not necessarily what you think your business is, but really figure out what it is. What's the business that you have? What is the problem that you can solve? And is there an audience that you can scale up to? Is it a large enough audience, a large enough pool of consumers who need your solution? Once you figure out that, the rest is, you can kind of put into place, not easily, but more easily than when you have that level of insight into what it is, with the problems that you're trying to solve for people. It's extremely important to spend time on helping articulate as clearly as possible, what your message is, which is very easy for a lot of businesses to just go in 50 different directions. Putting a logo on that, something identifiable that people are going to remember you by, is extremely important, because again, we're trying to cut through the clutter. Not only is it always tough to just create a solution, but it's also tough to create a solution that cuts through the noise that people remember. Thank you for viewers for watching the FounderX series by Designhill. This again is an amazing group of people putting together a great presentation and knowledge for all of you. I'm either at Kenneth Kinney or at A Shark's Perspective on all the social channels, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. But I'm primarily busiest on LinkedIn most of the time, and you can pull up my podcast on any of the hosting platforms.